Jinder. Today we are going to discuss about IELTS Writing Evaluation Scheme. Specifically, we are going to focus on IELTS Writing Module in this video. So, as this writing module is assumed as toughest one by most of the candidates, so here I am going to talk about how one can crack the IELTS writing exam without putting a lot many efforts or excessive material, because it takes a lot of efforts. So in order to crack the writing module in the very first attempt by incorporating minimal efforts. So what I think is, if if we are talking clearly about us writing, it is 60% based on the technique that you are going to use, and the remaining 40% is depending upon the knowledge that you are having with about English. Okay, so if you are using the proper technique to write English in order to crack your IELTS exam, especially the writing module, you can crack in the very first attempt, because it is not a big deal if you are following these two things, and the larger part is covered by the technique which is being followed by the candidate to attempt writing module. So it is not only including writing task 2, but I'm talking about task 1 and task 2 as well. Okay, so here I'm going to some of the points which are working to make your writing more effective. The first thing is your task approach. Task approach is nothing, it is just your answer to the statement. Okay, your answer to the statement of essay. Okay, or it could be the statement or answer to the data, or how the way you are representing the data values, and this data is provided to you in task 1, while this essay is there in task 2. Okay, so in this task 1, data can be presented or can be provided in the form of pie chart, line chart, bar chart, or it could be a process also, flow chart. Okay, process or flow chart is in, and on the other side task 2 is an essay. It could be about the latest technology. Okay, technology, or it could be related to the any say, sorry, technical gadgets. Okay, and many other things which can be included in the task 2. So task approach is how you are answering to the statement. Okay, so if the answer that you are providing to an statement is far away from what actually they are asking, then you are losing marks in the task response or task approach. Okay, task response and task approach both are quite similar things. Okay, so now the next is, when you are going to answer any of the question, you must be aware that what they are asking in the question statement. Okay, so reread the statement when you are going to write every body paragraph in a writing module. Okay, the next thing is the coherence and cohesion. So coherence and cohesion means when you are going to write any of the paragraph, because in the first at the first step, when you are collecting the ideas, collect the ideas in such a way that you can answer accurately to the statement. Okay, in the second run, arrangement of the ideas, arrangement of ideas. So if the arrangement of ideas is in a sequential manner, it means you are moving from one step to the another step, then to the next one in a coherent manner. Okay, and your story is going on smoothly, one after another. Okay, so there is no any gap. If any gap will be there, it will leave a question in the mind of examiner who is going to check your writing task. He is going to ask that why this person is writing this statement and again shifting from one statement to the another one without linking, without any proper link. Okay, so your story should have a proper link, means a proper smoothness, or you may say should have a proper flow from starting to end. Okay, the next is when we are going to talk about lexical sources. So in the lexical sources, when you are going to write an essay or any paragraph for task 1, you are required to use common words. Okay, use less common words. Okay, so if you are going to use less common words, for example, mostly we are using this word good, but it is quite common, so it is not going to make a difference, or it is not going to tell that you are an advanced user of English language. So in order to show your grip on English language, you need to use a synonym of such words, like for this good you may use any other synonym that is perfect, or it can be adequate. Okay, else it depends upon the situation to situation that in what sense you are going to use this word. Okay, but lexical source means you are going to use less common words but with their correct meaning. Okay, do not use the words in such a way that it can give a negative narration or inappropriate narration to a sentence. For example, if we are writing that sun rises from the east. Okay, this is one sentence, but on the other side, this rises is always a rise verb comes always with sun. Okay, we cannot say that sun climbs. Okay, if we'll write this, it will be wrong. Why? Because we are lacking our lexical sources. We are making use of this inappropriate word here. Okay, the last one is grammatical range and accuracy. So in this GRA, what we are going to tell the examiner that we are having with a good grip on the tenses. Okay, and we know how to use all types of sentences. Okay, and the last one is we know how to make use of punctuation marks. Okay, so punctuation marks are very important. We'll discuss it in detail in the next slides. In the last, we'll discuss about how to calculate the IELTS scores. Next is Here in the after completing this video, you are going to learn about why these are mandatory, why these 4 points that I have written in the previous slide, that task achievement, coherence and cohesion, GRA, and lexical resources. Why all these 4 things are important? Okay, you will get answer to all these questions. How one can target? Definitely in the end, I'll give you some examples how to make use of these all factors. Okay, the last one is what difference will it bring to the writing? Okay, definitely. I'm pretty confident that after completing this video, you will definitely came to know about the difference in your writing. If because you'll start looking at all these points, that whether I'm meeting the first point, second point, third, and the fourth one. Okay, next is first is suppose if you are going to write merits of studying abroad in the BP1, and you are planning to write demerits of studying abroad. Okay, it means what you are doing is you are making a mind map that I will write this in the BP1, I'll write this in the BP2, and in the last I'm going to write conclusion. Okay, so this is called your mind mapping. Okay, thinking in the mind that how I'm going to structure the complete essay. Next is keep yourself on track. What you need to do is you need to reread the statement again before starting each BP. Okay, use appropriate words. So whenever you are going to write a line or a sentence, you need to pick only those words which are having with the perfect fit or appropriate fit with other ones. Okay, so as we have discussed one example of sun is climbing or sun is rising in the previous slides. Okay, so always try to use advanced linking words and cohesive devices with which you are familiar. Okay, so because if you are going to, or if you will try to use a new word, totally new word, there might be some chances that you can commit mistake over there, but in order to avoid the mistakes, practice more and stay familiar to the words before making use in the final exam. Okay, then the lexical resources. Lexical resources is when you are going to write the task, you must be aware that what are the things which can make my essay more advanced. Okay, so in order to make the essay little bit advanced, you need to use a wide range of vocabulary. Always try to eliminate the repetition. Do not use the words again and again. Okay, if you will use the words again and again, definitely it is going to affect your writing skills. Okay, next is always try to use less common words. So as you can use perfect in place of good, you can use a large extent at the place of very much. Very much is very common word, so a large extent you can use. So similarly, you can use proportion in place of percentage. So these are only few examples. Apart from these, there are many more that you can use. Okay, and the last is very important. Avoid errors in the spellings, especially when you're going to write some complex words like opportunity and competition and obediently. Okay, some of the words which are pretty common, but when we are writing, we uh, unwantedly commit mistake. Okay, so to avoid this one, I would say just give a second reading after completing the task. Okay, grammatical range and accuracy. This grammatical range is covering three things. The first thing that we have already discussed is use of all variety of tenses. So if you are able to use all 12 tenses, okay, it doesn't mean that you need to incorporate all 12 sentences, but depending upon the situation, if you are making use of the tenses accurately, it means you are reaching this point. Okay, this is the prime one. The next one is the use of punctuation marks. So where to put full stop, where to put comma, where to use semicolon, where to use colon, and where to use exclamatory sign, or where to use post office s. Okay, so all these points are making a part of punctuation. Okay, so try to meet all these points, although these are very tiny points, but they are carrying equal weightage as that of the tenses. Okay, because if you are going to put commas at the wrong place in a sentence, it will completely change the sense of that sentence. Okay, next is use a wide range of grammatical structures and tenses. So we already have discussed these things. The last one is use a variety of sentences. So the simple ones can be used in the starting of each BP in order to write your topic sentence. Okay, compound or complex sentences can be used to make explanation. Okay, or I will say to write supporting sentences in which you are going to write why I have written topic sentence. Here you will explain it. Okay, and the next one is in order to support your viewpoints that you have explained here, you can use an example either in by using compound sentence or by using complex sentences. Okay, the last one is if I will say in the last of each VP write what if not. Okay, means whatever you have said in the topic sentence, if this is not going to happen, then what will happen? Okay, so what if not? So if I have written here that going abroad will bring ample opportunities for new generations. Okay, for example, this is my topic sentence. Going abroad will bring ample opportunities for new generations. Okay, on the other side, in the last of this BP, I'll write what if not? What if the new generations will not go abroad? Okay, I'll write if new generations will not go abroad, they would get completely drained in this technology focused world. So this is how you're going to write an essay. Okay, so the conditional sentences, you can visit my another video on the conditional sentences. I'll provide the link below. There are four types of conditional sentences. Okay, so first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, and the fourth conditional. So mostly we are going to use third conditional conditional in IELTS writing. Okay, now the last one is calculation of the IELTS scores. So the task 1 and task 2, both the tasks are calculated together. So what the weightage of this task 1 is 3 and task 2 is 6. Overall they are making 9 bands. Okay, so when they are going to check, if suppose if a person is getting 2 bands out of 3 in task 1, at the same time the person is getting 4 bands in task 2 out of 6. So now we are going to add these two and making it half. Okay, so it will be 2 plus 4, it would be equal to what? 6. Okay, so overall you will get 6 bands in this case. So this is all about